you say the biggest fear that leaders have when they're going through changes?
Fundamentally, it's about uncertainty. And how do you embrace uncertainty? Because people don't actually mind change, they fear uncertainty. But there's an important point about change. And I'm going to ask you to do something, actually.
Okay.
I'm going to turn away and I'm going to ask you to change something about your appearance. Okay? So I'm going to turn away and then let me know when you've done it.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, I think I've done something.
Okay, give me a clue.
It's on my head.
You've removed the clip.
Yes, I have.
Right.
Okay. I was thinking, did she even know I had a clip?
Well, this is the noticing. Right?
Okay.
So you removed something.
Yeah.
Right. And most people associate change with loss.
Right.
And so it's really important to recognise for people that whatever was before, something will go.
So even if you're gaining something, you're losing something.
Yes.
Wow.
Right. And this is the really important thing, because in that space, which is often unrecognised that we have lost something, if you can recognise that you have, and we will get through it, like we were talking about earlier, it leads a lot more to a positive outcome. But you just need that bit in between, from the reality to the new one. You need to have that bit of time in between, which is where I help. Yeah, so this is the important thing about hypothesis building, is you start with a belief and then you notice whether that belief is still true. And don't be afraid to change, don't be afraid to pivot, stop or continue. So it's a great way of reflecting and doing as well.
I'd love to learn about how there's kind of a lot in common with high pressure corporate life and the high pressure military world, and what does that look like? Because it sounds like you're perfectly placed to deal with, you've seen such high pressure environments, that the corporate world, does it feel like a breeze, or do you actually see a lot of similarities there?
Oh yeah, but the way that we're wired, our brains can't tell the difference. It feels like life or death in corporate world, and in the military it is life or death. So but because it isn't literally the same, it doesn't mean it doesn't feel the same.
So your body has the same reaction, goes into fight or flight in the same way that it would in a corporate?
Absolutely, it can do.
Wow, that's really interesting.
But the most important thing, and one of the things that leaders often ask me is, well, in the military, how did you get people to push through? How did you get people to keep on going? You mustn't have had time to consult and collaborate and all this kind of stuff. And this is the kind of thing where actually it's all about context.
Right.
So you're absolutely right. Some conditions I didn't have time or the need to collaborate. We just had to go and do a task. But the most important thing about resilience is knowing when you have to step up and have to put more energy in, but knowing when you have to come back down again. Resilience is the ability to come back down. It's not the ability to keep on pushing through. So the psychoanalytic side is, for me, what brings it all together. Okay. So the particular modality that I'm studying is the work of Carl Jung. He was a 20th century psychiatrist. Some people may have heard of him. But essentially, he has some really great insights around how our unconscious drives our decisions every day and drives how we behave. And his view is, if you don't bring the unconscious to conscious, people will just call what happens to you fate. And I really believe that if we can understand ourselves better, we can be more in control about our destiny and what happens to us as individuals and organisations.
So we're in this gorgeous forest and we've met in a coffee shop and I've had conversations with you in your home. I'd love to just understand a bit more about what your work looks like with clients.
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways that I can work. One is one-on-one with people, and that's very much down to how people would like to work with me.
I see.
So I can do online, I can walk in a forest.
Yeah, I love the forest walk.
I can meet in a cafe, depending on making sure the conditions are right for the conversation, of course.
Okay. So I can see that there'd be huge demand for this skill set and this service, and I guess that was part of the motivation for you to make this series, is to kind of help people understand what is available to them and the depth of knowledge that you've got, what would be the first step for somebody ready to take on this journey?
It's to get in touch,
Yeah.
right? There's no commitment. Just get in touch and tell me about the symptoms.
Right.
What are you experiencing that you can't quite put your finger on? And I can come in and I can help you understand what might be going on for the organisation. But for those of you that know there's a big change around the corner, I would say the earlier you get in touch, the better the outcome.
Right.
And we can work together to plan how to make that move to your next level even more successful.